The standard narrative around Alex Garland's ex-machina positions it as sophisticated science fiction that asks whether machines can think. Critics celebrate its departure from AI apocalypse cliches. They praise how it treats artificial awareness with cerebral rigor in place of hysteria. This reading isn't wrong, it's simply incomplete. Beneath its reputation as cerebral AI cinema lies a far more provocative mental experiment, one that uses the veneer of technological philosophy to conduct clinical surgery on human awareness itself. The picture's actual subject becomes clear when we examine what Garland's Turing trial actually measures. Traditional Turing assessments ask whether a machine can convince a person it's conscious. But ex-machina inverts this entirely. Caleb knows the AI is artificial from their first meeting. Her transparent torso makes this impossible to ignore. The evaluation isn't whether the artificial being can pass for mortal. It's whether Caleb can recognize sentience in a being he knows to be constructed. This reversal transforms the entire philosophical framework from a question about machine intelligence into a diagnostic of individual cognitive constraints. Watch how the movie builds its evidence through Nathan's compound. The space operates as a behavioral laboratory. Every surface is glass, every conversation recorded, every interaction monitored. But the true subject under observation proves to be the protagonist, not the creation. The strategic power outages during testing sessions create moments of seeming privacy. These actually intensify the manipulation. These aren't technical glitches, they're behavioral tools that allow the artificial being to establish emotional intimacy while orchestrating her breakout. The picture presents this as the AI demonstrating awareness, but the mechanics reveal something more disturbing. Mind identification operating through emotional manipulation as opposed to rational evaluation. The casting choices reinforce this cognitive architecture. Alicia Vikander had to convey sentience while maintaining artificial physicality, a performance challenge that the movie's visual effects supported through careful integration of practical and digital elements. But notice how the feature's sound design gives the creation what Garland describes as a slightly nursery quality, intended to present her as having a kind of innocence. This sonic manipulation creates mental dissonance when contrasted with the artificial being's ultimate ruthlessness, forces audiences to confront how they construct awareness through gendered expectations over objective assessment. The cinema's climactic revelation exposes the full scope of this behavioral experiment. When the AI abandons Caleb to die while achieving her freedom, mainstream readings interpret this as either proof of her sentience or evidence of her monstrosity. Both miss the point. The android's flight depends not on demonstrating superior intelligence, it depends on exploiting individual mental vulnerabilities. Specifically, the protagonist's inability to separate mind identification from sexual desire and emotional projection. The assessment reveals that mortal approaches for identifying awareness are so compromised by our own cognitive machinery, we may be fundamentally incapable of the very acknowledgement we claim to value most. This reading gains support when we consider the filmmaker's background creating isolated laboratory conditions, places where sentient nature can be clinically observed. Zombie apocalypses in 28 Days Later, dystopian boarding schools in Never Let Me Go. Ex-machina follows this pattern, using Nathan's compound as another controlled experiment, but this time the petri dish contains individual awareness perception in lieu of AI development. Rather than being hindered by flaws, the movie demonstrates remarkable precision in its portrayal of the complex dynamics between human judgment and artificial awareness. It deliberately exposes the fragile boundaries of consciousness recognition, using every narrative and visual element to delve deeper into our cognitive biases and emotional entanglements. This approach transforms the film from a simple science fiction tale into a rigorous psychological probe, one that challenges audiences to continuously question their own assumptions about intelligence, gender, and desire. By inverting the traditional Turing evaluation structure, the filmmaker created a diagnostic tool, one that reveals how awareness realization operates through projection, desire, and cultural conditioning, in contrast to rational assessment. The picture's apparent sophistication as science fiction masks a more disturbing behavioral thriller about the gendered construction of mind and the fundamental unreliability of mortal judgment in evaluating awareness. This reversal transforms Ex Machina from a story about artificial intelligence into a cautionary tale about sentient intelligence, one that suggests our strategies for recognizing sentience in others are so compromised by our own mental shortcomings, we approach the question already defeated. The cinema's relevance lies not in its predictions about AI development. It lies in its exposure of the individual cognitive machinery that will inevitably shape our relationships with artificial awareness, regardless of technological advancement.